I know you gonna dig this.
I'm outside in an AMG, right outside, TT.
Twin Talk Podcast.
I've been trying to get my thoughts together, but I kind of feel like I should just start talking. At the beginning of the day, I had so many points that I wanted to make sure I got to, and this is why I had made it a practice of writing down things that I think of, because you never remember shit. You never remember shit. You think you're gonna remember it, and you just don't. But oh Jesus, I just had a bunch of chicken noodles, so my bad, little burps. Today, Kyle Rittenhouse, the verdict came out. He is not guilty on all charges. I'm fine with it. It's really sad to me. Jesus, these burps. One second. Okay, drank some water. Hopefully I'm good. So, the basic thing I like to start with is things that I hope help people from jumping on me and assuming that I'm for Kyle or I'm against Kyle or I'm anything. I don't give a fuck about Kyle. To me, it's just one of the facts of the case. What happened in the video. Let's hash it out and be done. To watch, well, actually, I don't want to use my words. I want to use the words of somebody that I follow on Twitter who said, it's the amazing atheist, TJ Kirk. He's got a pretty good mind for political stuff. Been following him for a while, along with tons of other people. The political spectrum of who I look at is literally everybody. Like, in a second, I want to talk about a Louder with Crowder video that I just watched, because, you got to go see what the crazies on the right. Like, there's far leftists who are insane. There's center left people who can have a conversation. There's center people who can have an actual conversation. And then you get to the right version where it's like center right, far right. Crowder is on the super far right that almost doesn't make any sense. It's kind of scary, the things he'll say. But fuck all that. We'll get to that in a second. I wanted to start with this quote, or this tweet that's basically a quotable. America has always been comfortable with violence. We condemn it from the other side. Red tribe bad, blue tribe good, etc. Meanwhile, the elitist self-appointed God King are drying their tears of laughter with wads of money that rival your entire family's net worth. A jury spent days deliberating on this matter, obviously struggling to come to the truth. I trust their verdict. It seems they took their duty seriously. It's disgusting that this trial became politicized, with everyone rooting for a team instead of rooting for truth. If I were a protester of either side of any given issue, the lesson I would take is that violence is acceptable. If you go to a protest, you go willing to kill and willing to die. It sucks that we've reached that point, but clearly we have. People have been talking about how civil war is coming to America anytime now. And I really think having Trump as president is a big reason that helped to unlock that in us. We just needed more excuses to be partisan, and having the leader of the country say "fuck you" to one whole side is like a big helping hand in that. It didn't help that people on the left weren't just like standing by with no hand in it and only reacting to Trump. We people on the left had our assumptions on Trump, and we used that to talk shit about him. We used that to deride him and look at the people who follow him and make them feel like lesser than. Everyone's doing it to each other, and it's kind of sick that people find comfort in a side than coming together to just figure out what happened. It's sick, but it makes a lot of sense. Life is finite. Life is scary. Things hurt. You are ultimately alone. I will never know what you're thinking in your head, and chances are you don't have the economy of words to accurately express the way you feel. So everything you get from everyone is kind of just like their real self filtered through tools that they've had throughout life that might not even be good tools. Their speech, their actions, what they create with their hands, how they spend their day. Like, so many things matter, and we kind of trivialize things, and we assume a lot. Oh, you have a MAGA hat on. You must hate me because I'm gay. Oh, you're holding a rifle. You must not give a fuck about my skin color. Oh, you've got blue dyed hair. You must think that I shouldn't be allowed to have my gun. We all just do this because it's not wrong to do. It's shorthand. Everything in life needs this shorthand. This is why having conversations in text don't really get you anywhere. If you have a disagreement in text, what each person starts doing is they don't have emotions to build off of. They don't have the cadence in your voice to play off of. They just have your words. So it's extremely easy to pick out the things that you want to get anal about and be bitch made about and take things out of context to tell somebody that they're gaslighting you when they could have just been asking you a genuine question. Millions of things. It's frustrating. But I can't really blame people. I blame people because we're doing it, but I have empathy for it because we're stupid. Everyone is so stupid. Let me say it like this. We're stupid by default. Here's the first piece of writing I wanted to bring up. So, we're going to look at the left view of Kyle Rittenhouse, and we're going to look at the right view of Kyle Rittenhouse. And before I get started, let's just put this squarely out there. If you didn't look at the facts of the case, if you didn't watch the video that came out the night he did the shooting, if you haven't, even listened to somebody summarize what happened in the case, and not somebody who's like, damn. Listening to people summarize the case is actually also kind of toxic because if you're like me, I've listened to 6 different types of people summarize a case, and I aggregate that together to find out, okay, what's ringing true, what's making sense, what's not, and I throw the rest away. Most people just listen to The Breakfast Club, and that's where they get their news. Or they just watch Philip DeFranco, and Philip DeFranco was talking about the Julius Jones case, and he talked about how Julius Jones is a guy who shot a man point blank and stole his car. His family was in the car. They jumped out of the car and ran away. But the daughter saw the man's face, and she gave a description of Julius Jones. And depending on who you listen to, her description makes sense. If you listen to people on the left, they go, she said he had inch-long hair. He didn't have inch-long hair. He had buzz cuts. And they have all this, arguing about what her testimony was to the description of the shooter. And she has come out in interviews and said, people are trying to tell me that I said he had inch-long straight hair when he had short curly hair. What I said was the shooter had a beanie cap on that showed an inch of his hair from his ear to the hat. So it doesn't have to be inch-long hair. It's an inch from the ear to the hat on his head. She could see an inch of his hair. And every time I've talked to people about the Julius Jones case, they repeat that, oh, he had inch-long hair. And it's just if you're getting your info from the wrong place, you don't even know what you're doing. It's like growing up trying to be good at money management from some people who never had a bank account and never fucking saved for anything. You don't know about money if your parents didn't know about money. That's why most broke people stay broke. And that's why most people who don't know anything about the world birth kids who end up knowing nothing about the world, and people just go on being stupid and not even knowing that they're doing anything wrong. It's all really sad. But I brought that up to talk about how, Jesus Christ, I go on so many tangents that I keep forgetting what the whole original point was. But that's kind of the fun of talking, is just letting it go wherever it's going to go. And I haven't even been rolling a joint this whole time. God damn. Let me just pull some weed out so I can get to rolling this joint. I'm smoking way too fast. It's concerning. I'm going to try and roll little pinners today. So, I want to start by showing the viewpoint of someone on the left that I see constantly. And that person is... Do I say names? Yeah, we say names because I don't care. If anybody if you put out words and I review those words and you don't like what I had to say and you want to fight me or something because I think what you said is stupid, like, it doesn't get much dumber, man. You put the words out, you gotta be ready to hear a little bit of criticism. Or block your ears, go daddy daddy boo boo and walk somewhere else. It's really... Alright, anyways. Here's the quote. Now remember, these words, the intent behind these words is something I hear constantly. That's why I chose this one person. This person isn't demonstrably dumber than other people or something. This is just the one person I decided to grab. Her name is Mother Wata. She says, America, period, where black bodies are used for sport in the hands of white people and our own. What will it take to demand our value even in our own communities? We raise our black men and women to be strong only to be killed by white cowards, and we let it slide. So right there, let's already stop and go, this conflation of so many different things just doesn't even work. It's so confusing to me that somebody would feel comfortable saying those first couple sentences that it's hard for me to explain beyond a reasonable doubt why it's so insane. America, where black bodies are used for sport in the hands of white people. I mean, what world are you from? I don't know. You know what? I'm not even going to try and put commentary on that. It's just retarded to me. What will it take to demand our value, even in our own communities? What does that... And this is why, like, I tried to message this girl and talk to her about what she thought. And the first thing she did to me was ask, are you black? And I said, yes. And she said, if you're black and can't see the problem with this case, then there's no help for you. That's a ton of assumption. First of all, you're assuming that every black person just is obviously going to understand what's going on here. That's insane. Second of all, to assume, she's assuming I don't see a problem with this case. I see tons of problems with this case. There's Kyle's parents who failed to be parents. There's society that fucked Kyle up in the head and made him think it's a good idea to go out there and be a vigilante. There's fucking... Kyle is just an idiot. When I listened to him talk, I was watching the trial, listening to him talk and thinking, man, this is a really dumb kid. He seems like a relatively good kid. He was a lifeguard. He was signing up for like these police programs and being like a young deputy or whatever. He wanted to grow up to be a police officer. He obviously had it in his mind that he needed to try to help. But when you don't know shit and when you're 17 and all you're really getting is like whatever sort of subtle right-wing indoctrination or like hero worshipping type attitudes over in Kenosha and just across the United States in general, when that's hitting you, I don't even really need to know Kyle past these few facts to know that he just had a warped reality. He thought he could be a hero. He thought he could help people. When you watch the videos of him in Kenosha, not just the videos of when he shot people, there's other videos that he shows up in because he's just in the area. He's out there going, anyone need medic? Anyone need medical? You see pictures of him cleaning graffiti. He's trying to put out that dumpster fire that Rosenbaum started. This isn't a defense of Kyle. Kyle's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking idiot that should have at least been charged with having a gun underage. I need to go look up why that charge got dropped. I watched most of the trial, but I missed that part. Kyle's a fucking idiot, but it's obvious that he was out there trying to help. That's what you see. It's insane to me when people say he obviously was like looking for a reason to shoot people. When you say that, what you're saying is he went out, spent most of his night cleaning, trying to give medic to people, and saying I can just help. I just want to help. And then you take one moment where he gets chased down and go, yup, that's what he was waiting for. He was waiting hours in the night to hopefully have an incident where he could shoot somebody, and then hopefully a mob chases him down and he can start shooting them. It's so ridiculous. When you take the video of him a few days before the protest or a week before the protest, And you see him on camera. He's watching some people loot, I think, like a Target or some shit like that. And he says to a friend of his next to him, I wish I had my AR so I could just start shooting these people. People try to take that and go, oh, see? He said this, so that means that he wants to shoot them. I have tons of friends who talk about how much they want to kill white people and that they want to just start beating them up. And it's like, you guys know there's a huge difference between what you say and what you do. He obviously has a bias against the left. But that doesn't mean that he's just trying to kill people. If he wanted to just kill people, he could have. I remember watching people debate the Kyle Rittenhouse story the night after it came out, and one dude who had never watched the video said Kyle got down on one knee and just opened fire on a crowd. I've talked to friends who thought that same kind of thing. So there we go, right back into where did you get your facts from? Oh God, I'm spinning. I'm starting to spin. My whole point is that Kyle can be an idiot who deserves to be charged with a couple things while also not being some fucking bloodthirsty right-wing terrorist that wants to go out and shoot people. It does, like, the story just doesn't work. And you see people, instead of looking at any of the facts and nuance, they try so hard to squeeze a square peg into a round hole. And actually, you know what? If the hole's big enough, a square peg goes into a round hole. I should have used something else. Whatever. Point is, people are dumb. I rambled, and this is why I like to write my points down beforehand, because I'll just get off track talking about things I feel. Let's finish up with this dummy said. She says, we raise our black men and women to be strong, only to be killed by white cowards. Evidence, please. And we let it slide. When are things being let slide? We wouldn't let Relly down the street slide over 200, but we let them motherfuckers slide for what? Now she's just like conflating things. That like, this is, when you say a sentence like that, that's you just going, I just feel like this. And so I'll say it. There's no, if you asked her, what do you actually mean by that? Who's letting their homie who owes them $200 slide, or not slide, but then letting the white people slide? Are you saying that black people should be up in arms and just start shooting white people? Like, what do you mean? It doesn't mean anything. And then in cap locks, body after body after body. But shit, do we even give a fuck about ourselves? We kill our community leaders, Nip, Dolph, who next? We raise to be strong, giving tough love most our life in our households just to be killed by white cowards. And the tears rolling down my face right now. We were not brought here to be American. We were brought here to build it. There will never be balance in that. A PPP loan can't heal that. America don't deserve us. America is not our ally. America has proved that black and brown people are not American. And if she hadn't blocked me, I was going to ask all this stuff. How has America proved you're not American? You were literally given rights. We've watched black people be defended and acquitted in amazing ways. From OJ to people who have no money to people, we've seen dudes who committed the crime get off and be black. It's like, you can't just say these sweeping statements without having some real hard, either a story, some evidence, just some sort of reasoning behind it. People say these wild ass statements and never stop to think like, they never stop to go, we were not brought here to be American. What does that statement even mean? At first, you're not brought here to be American. The thought that you would just be like, the thought that you would go, let's go to Africa, let's put a bunch of people in chains and bring them over here to be Americans. That's not how time works. That's not how reality works. Things happen, and then they turn into other things. We have the horrible, horrible sin of slavery that eventually turned into civil war, a violent uprising that fucking ended that shit, and then different civil rights that came later after that to continue to codify black people as citizens of the United States. And it's like, you just sum all that up by by saying we were never meant to be Americans? What the fuck does that even mean?